This is a must-see video if you are planning to travel to the United States after November 8th, 2021. There are new rules that you must know before you get on that flight. Hi, and thank you for joining us to talk immigration. My name is Andrea Chev, and I'm the managing attorney at Chev Law Group in Los Angeles, California. I've been doing immigration law for almost 20 years now, and I put together these videos to give you clear, concise, and easy to understand information on all types of immigration topics. Now, if you like the video and you like to hear about immigration news, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell right next to it so you're notified every time a video comes out. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media. I am on Instagram quite often, and I give you the latest information on that. It's a quicker way to get that information if you need it. Now, let's get into this topic of what travel changes and travel rules are coming into place starting November 8th, 2021. You must know these things if you are going to get on a plane and fly to the U.S. after that date. First and foremost, I want to clarify that these rules do not apply to U.S. citizens or permanent residents. They only apply to non-immigrants. So if you are a non-immigrant and you're going to get on a plane to fly to the United States after November 8, 2021, you need to have two things in your hand before you board the plane. One is proof of a vaccination that is approved by the U.S. government, and two, proof of a valid negative COVID test or proof of recovery from COVID. If you do not have those two things before you board the plane to come to the United States, you will not be allowed into the United States. First, let's talk about what vaccines are actually accepted by the U.S. government when you're trying to enter the U.S. after November 8th. Here is a list of what the U.S. will accept. You see here there's single dose and there's two dose series. And the single dose, they'll accept the Johnson & Johnson, and the two-dose series, they'll accept the Pfizer, Moderna, and then they'll also accept AstraZeneca, Covishield, Sinopharm, or Sinovac. Now, if you don't have any of those vaccines, then you will not qualify to come into the U.S. after November 8th with the new rules. Now, let's look at a chart that shows how soon you have to get those vaccines before you enter the country. Okay, you can see here who is considered fully vaccinated when you take those vaccines. So if you're taking a one dose, it has to be 14 days after you've taken the one dose. And if you're doing a two or second dose, two dose COVID vaccine, then you need to wait 2 weeks or 14 days after the second dose you've received. Now, they will also accept any mix or match combination of vaccines. So if you have an AstraZeneca and you have a Moderna mixed together as your two dose, they will accept those. So it doesn't have to be the same vaccine, but they both have to be approved vaccines. And then there is an exception here that you should note, that if you have been part of a vaccine trial, you might be exempted from taking the actual vaccines in the same way that all of us have to. Okay, now that we know which vaccines are allowed and when you have to take them before you enter, now how are you supposed to prove that you've had those vaccines? Now, if we look at the CDC website, they show us that there's a few different options. Now, I encourage you after this video to go and visit this actual website, which I will put the link down in the underneath this video so you have it. But let's go through the basics of how can you prove that you had your vaccine. They will accept different types of a QR code or a photograph of the vaccination record, but any proof that you provide must have the following things. They must have a personal identifier as a minimum full name and date of birth that match the personal identification of the passenger's passport or other travel document. The name of the official source issuing the record, the public health agency, the government agency, or other authorized vaccine provider, and the vaccine manufacturer and date of vaccinations. So those three things must be on the record that you're providing as proof of the vaccination. But again, I encourage you to go to the website and read carefully all the details of the different options you have to show proof that you've had the vaccinations that are required. Next, in addition to having your vaccine and proof of the vaccine, you need to have a negative COVID test. You need that test to be taken within 3 days, no more than 3 days, of travel to the United States. And you need to present that at the airport along with the vaccine proof that you're going to have also. Now, if you don't have the vaccine proof and the negative COVID test within the correct period of time, you will not be boarding that plane. And if for some reason you get on that plane and you don't have those two things, when you get to the border in the US, when you get to customs, they're not going to let you in. So you want to make sure that you have your vaccination, proof of vaccination, and proof of a negative COVID test taken within 3 days of flying to the United States. Now, there are exemptions to the requirement of the vaccine. There are a lot of exemptions. They are very detailed, and it's not something I want to go through in this video itself. It is a whole nother video entirely. But I am providing the link below of where you can find information on exemptions to the vaccine. Now, make sure if you're trying to get an exemption to the vaccine that you read the information very carefully and how you need to go about getting those exemptions, because it would be terrible for you to fly all the way to the United States, get to the border, and then you're denied entry because you did not fall clearly or have the evidence you need to be exempted from that vaccine requirement. Also, even if you are exempted from that vaccine requirement, you still need a negative COVID test that was taken within the day before you're left to come to the United States. Not the 3 days, like if you're vaccinated, but the day before. So make sure you have that negative COVID test in addition to the documentation you need with regard to the exemption. I am super excited for November 8th coming. And if you're watching this video after November 8th, I celebrated the November 8th date because we have been so long stuck under these travel bans with people stuck all over the world that have not been able to get to the United States, either for work or family or pleasure. And we welcome you all back to the United States. I hope that everything goes smoothly when you bring what you need to the airports across the world, because we know how this goes when there's new laws and new policies that are being implemented. So the best advice I can give you is to go to that website, watch this video over and over and over, just to make sure you understand clearly what you need. And also go to that website that's down below this video and read carefully what exactly you need, what vaccines are allowed, what the proof you need to prove that you were vaccinated, and also what COVID test they will accept, and what is the documentation you need to show that you do have a negative COVID test that qualifies. I don't want you arriving at the border without that stuff and being turned away, or going to the airport for a trip that you've been waiting to go on for over a year now and being turned away. We welcome you all back to the United States. I'm super excited that this is happening. We're one step closer to opening up all the borders around the world, and I look forward to seeing you in person when you get here. Have a wonderful afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world, and stay safe out there.